2024-2025 season. Elegbeleye said the MPFL board was poised to improve the quality of officiating in the Nigerian top flight. The chairman also highlighted their plans to solidify the youth system of the MPFL. Meanwhile, the chief operating officer of the league, Davison Owumi, noted that fixtures for next season had been drawn, adding that the resumption date would be ratified at the club's Congress. You're still watching Biscon Television News. Up next is entertainment news. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Biscon Television News. Now to entertainment news. Trinidadian rapper Nicki Minaj has congratulated Afrobeat superstar Davido and his wife Chioma on their recent wedding. She expressed her well wishes while performing at her Pink Friday 2 World Tour. Before performing the collaborative hit Holy Ground, Nicki paused to celebrate the couple. The couple tied the knot on Tuesday in a lavish Lagos wedding, drawing A-list guests like governors, traditional rulers, and celebrities. The hashtag Chivido 2024 wedding extravaganza took over the internet, with fans and media flooding social media with photos and videos of the celebration. And that's the news for now on Biscon Television, compiled and produced by Tomiloba Avalari. We leave you with the last line. Opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor. I'm Stella Opara. Thank you for watching.
And training.
Today we want to recognize 6 of such people. We refer to them as legacy champions, and we intend to pass on the baton of effective communication to them. In this audience are several professional communicators who have dedicated their careers to connecting with various audiences. They include, but are not limited to, Chief Bisi Olatilo, Pastor Lola Alakija, Dr. Shola Omoli, Dr. Waid Olaguju Bashar Daily Momodu. And of course, perhaps one of the best things to happen to Cross River State in his time as governor, Mr. Donald Duke. Please put your hands together for him.
Well, I think I have to mention Dr. Ikechukwu Obiaya because I'm a bit partial to him. He was my teacher at SMC, and I don't want to get
Before Abraham, Jesus was. Before He was your teacher, He was my teacher.
Exactly.
Please put your hands together for the Dean, School of Media and Communication, Pan Atlantic University.
Well, they are all witnesses to this short ceremony, and we trust that our legacy champions will not let them down. They say that the young shall grow. So we are going to ask some of our students represented here to read out today's citations. They are members of their school debating societies, and we want them to have an opportunity of speaking to an audience. After all, this is Command Your Stage. So the first legacy champion to be recognized is Barrister Prada Uzodinma, PhD. Please take center stage while Adeboyega Oluwapelumi from Igbobi College will read your citation.
Uzodinma is an accomplished legal practitioner, possessing expertise in contract law and maritime law. She holds an LLB from the University of Surrey and an LLM in maritime law from the University of Southampton. She was also awarded an honorary Doctor of Civil Law, honoris causa, by ESGT University, Benin, in recognition of our unwavering commitment to excellence and best practices within the legal sector. Barrister Uzodinma appreciates the opportunity she was given to actualize her dream of becoming a lawyer. Furthermore, she recognizes the passion of other aspiring lawyers to achieve the same goal. She launched the Prada Uzodinma Law School Scholarship Grant, the PUSG, a commendable initiative aimed at alleviating financial challenges faced by young individuals pursuing a career in law. PUSG was initiated in partnership with the law firm Principal Legal Consult and their sponsorship of the legal education of 30 successful recipients since inception has been applauded by several notable dignitaries. Lawyers are not the only group of Nigerians that enjoy the patronage of Prada Uzodinma. She co-founded the Ability Life Initiative, TALI, a foundation dedicated to bridging the gap and advocating for the rights of individuals living with disabilities. This house applauds Prada Uzodinma's notable achievements, philanthropic efforts, and her commitment to promoting inclusivity. We call upon her to further dedicate her time and resources to building the capacity of lawyers to communicate effectively. We also encourage her to reposition persons living with disabilities to negotiate their well-being and defend their rights by learning to speak confidently for themselves. Thank you.
Ashorodele Momodu. Thank you.
Congratulations, Barrister Uzodinma.
Thank you, sir. One more, please.
Mr. Adebola Williams. Mr. Adebola Williams, can we have Mrs. Isabella to please represent Mr. Adebola Williams of Red Media, as I invite Azima Davis from Vivian Fowler Memorial College for Girls to read his citation. Can we please have Azima?
I'll be reading the citation of Mr. Adebola Williams. Mr. Adebola Williams is a media entrepreneur, journalist, political consultant, and motivational speaker who is passionate not only about changing Africa's narrative, but also about reshaping Africa's political landscape. Adebola Williams is a communication strategist and a political consultant who has been recognized by Forbes and CNN as the man who galvanized youth voting blocs across Africa to elect 3 presidents. He's the group CEO of Red Africa, which he co-founded, and whose portfolio includes on- and offline unique media brands such as Statecraft Inc., The Future Awards Africa, and Why Niger. Mr. Williams has focused his attention on tomorrow's leaders. He and his team have created opportunities for the younger generation to make informed decisions. Through Statecraft Inc., a leading political and policy consulting firm, young people are learning about citizen engagement and the value it adds to the governance process. For almost 15 years, young Nigerians have also gained tremendously from 2 creative initiatives. First, they have been able to keep up with the latest information and ideas on a variety of contemporary subjects through the popular blog known as Why Niger. Secondly, the Future Awards Africa project offers a unique opportunity to recognize outstanding young people between the ages of 18 and 31. The awards have been described as Nigeria's most important awards for outstanding young Nigerians. When it comes to the field of marketing and communications, Adebola Williams has shown his versatility by serving various key sectors of the economy. From oil and gas to technology, and from banking to consumer goods, he and the Red Media Africa team have earned themselves several global awards. This house recognizes the deliberate and conscious efforts Adebola Williams has made to impact the world and create his own reality, all before attaining the age of 40. We acknowledge his understanding of partnerships and teamworks and urge him to adopt that model to further influence the teeming youth with which he engages, so that they too can learn the skills that have enabled him to speak at summits, conferences, and Ivy League schools around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome Mr. Adebola Williams. Represented by Ms. Isabella.
And to present the award, I'd like to invite Dame
recognition of Adebola Williams' contributions to human expression and development, I present this award to you on its behalf. Congratulations. God bless you.
To the center, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. Isabella wasn't prepared for that, but to take center stage whilst Alma Ukachi reads the citation. Alma Ukachi is from St. Jude's Private Secondary School. The next person we want to highlight. Okay, Dr. Amina Salihu, represented by Roberta Okereke. She's the experience lead, School of Politics, Policy and Governance. So please welcome Alma Ukachi.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to present a citation on Dr. Amina Salihu. The history of the growth of Nigeria's vibrant civil society sector cannot be written without including the name of Dr. Amina Salihu. Amina is a political scientist by training, a feminist by conviction, a farmer by vocation, and a philanthropist by inclination. Dr. Amina A. Salihu is the Deputy Director of the MacArthur Foundation Africa Office, which focuses on inclusive grant making, communication, program development, and networking. She holds a BSc and MSc from Ahmadu Bello University and a PhD from the University of Abuja. Born to make impact in all her endeavors, the founder of the Habiba Dangana Foundation is an honorary advisor to various governments and civil society organizations, a member of several professional associations, and chairs multiple advisory teams and boards. She's also on the board of trustees for the Unity Schools Old Students Association. This former lecturer of public policy at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, also coordinated DFID and UKAID's C4C program, served as senior special assistant to the Minister of Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, and initiated the Abuja Town Hall meeting to improve government community engagement. She established the Nigerian Women's Trust Fund, Nigeria's first sexual offender database, and initiated major maternal health initiatives and educational programs for out-of-school girls. In recognition of her talents and experience, she was appointed the Pioneer Dean of the Unconventional Virtual School of Policy, Politics and Governance, which has already been duplicated in Senegal, while talks are ongoing with Ghana, Kenya, and Zimbabwe. As the Deputy Director of the MacArthur Foundation Africa Office, she has supported several civil society organizations vested in communication and governance projects, and has also facilitated the training of numerous journalists. This house recognizes that Dr. Amina Salihu is passionate about human capital development, gender equity, and social inclusion. We urge our legacy champion to also embrace effective communication in its entirety and build the capacity of young Nigerians to speak with confidence in public. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a woman full of integrity, a distinguished awardee, Dr. Amina Salihu.
Represented by Roberta Okereke.
In recognition of your ongoing contributions to human expression and development, I am most delighted to present this to you on behalf of Madam Bimbo Oluide and her establishment for this great achievement. Congratulations. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Is the Executive Director and CEO of the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, WSCIJ. For almost 2 decades, she has cut a clear path as a social entrepreneur who is passionate about journalism and media innovation. She leads WSCIJ's strategic initiatives, manages stakeholder relationships, and shows by example that excellence should not be compromised for any reason. She has undoubtedly contributed to the rising standard of investigative journalism in Nigeria and broadened its horizons by initiating important investigative reporting projects on education, oil and gas, and women's rights. By so doing, she has significantly empowered journalists to speak truth to power and challenge the status quo in these areas. In 2014, she launched the Report to Women program, which has trained 537 female journalists and produced 86 fellows. As a result of this initiative, the center was able to commission 131 stories, which have benefited over 2,930 people. In general, however, Mrs. Alaka has trained over 7,000 reporters, facilitated over 1,000 stories, and mentored numerous journalists. Popularly known as Madam Intentional by the Report Women beneficiaries, she has established a network of female journalists who are united in their bid to write creative and impactful sororities and reports, thereby change gender and development narratives. Mrs. Moturayo also heads the collaborative media engagement for development, inclusivity, and accountability, C-Media project, involving 26 partner organizations, and coordinates the media and journalism MAJ cohorts under the MacArthur Foundations on Nigeria program. This house congratulates this Stanford University Draper Hills Fellow in 2018 and John S. Knight Journalism Fellow in 2020 for her consistency in promoting journalistic excellence. We call upon Mrs. Moturayo Alaka to extend the expertise of journalists and young professionals who represent several platforms of communication to include confident and professional self-expression so that their position as members of the fourth estate of the realm becomes non-negotiable. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Mrs. Moturayo Alaka.
Bimbo, before I present this award, looking back some 40 years ago, there is a little confession I got to make. You know, when we Catholics go to confession, at the end of it all, the priest will say, "Go and sin no more." When young Bimbo Roberts was at NTA, there was also another young man whose name is Tunde Oloyede. Tunde and I grew up in Lagos. We were both, in quotes, area boys. So we had our hangouts where we go, run away from home, attempt to learn how to drink a little beer here and there. One day, Tunde comes and says, "There is this young lady at NTA. Her phone is so much for me, I don't even know how to work with her." And Tunde will say to Bimbo, "This your phonetics, where is he going to lead you? Can't you speak like a Nigerian? Aren't you a..." Tunde was as bush as I am. "Can't you speak our Nigerian English?" And Tunde went on teasing Bimbo to no small measures. One day, maybe about a year later, Tunde joins us at the drinking joint and say, mo like girl yẹn o, Tunde. Mo like Bimbo. At the tin sorrow. Are you still speaking like this bushman from Ekiti? Or you want to turn to Bimbo's type of English? Only I got to learn, no, because it looks like I like her. From there, it moved on to I love her. And one day, to our surprise, Tunde said, I have proposed to Bimbo. Bimbo has accepted to marry me. I said, it's not possible. How can a bushman from Ekiti come and marry our daughter from Lagos? But then the rest is history. May Tunde's soul and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace.
Amen.
Amen. So, back to today's business. Mrs. Moturayo Alaka, it is with indeed great pleasure from all that has been said about you, read about you, you certainly have been able to come into this scene, conquer this scene, and been able to say so much about what is happening in our lives. Communications, technology, and everything that you have been, noted for. Once again, it is congratulations to you. And on behalf of Bimbo and her team, and in recognition of your ongoing contributions to human expression and development, it's a pleasure for me to present this to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for also remembering and honoring my late father. Thank you. I'm going to call on Jadesola Adetokunbo Balogun from Vivian Fowler Memorial College. She will be reading the citation for Madam Osai Alile. So please kindly take center stage, Ms. Alile, whilst your citation is being read.
Glad to be here. Ms. Osai Alile is the CEO of Aspire Coronation Trust Foundation, otherwise known as ACT Foundation. Although this grant-making organization has been running successfully for the past 7 years, Auntie Osai has spent 2.5 decades at the forefront of human development, garnering relevant experience. Armed with a first degree in sociology from the University of Lagos, a master's degree in public administration from Rutgers University, and executive certifications from several national and international bodies, Ms. Alile has leveraged on her body of work to make transformational impact in the areas of education, health, entrepreneurship, the environment, and leadership. She spent a year working for the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, 4 years as Vice President of Junior Achievement of Nigeria, 7 years as the Executive Director of Faith Foundation, and 3 years as CSR consultant to Access Bank, before establishing ACT Foundation. She identified several critical gaps in the social sector and recognized the need for an indigenous grant-making organization that would become a catalyst for sustainable change. Consequently, as the CEO of ACT Foundation, her understanding of the nonprofit sector and its potential to impact lives positively has been the driving force behind her dedication to the growth and empowerment of young Nigerians and Africans. Her hard work has yielded measurable and commendable results all over the continent, so much so that ACT Foundation was adjudged Not-for-Profit of the Year 3 years in a row at the 2018, 2019, and 2020 Sarah CSR Awards. It is also to Ms. Osai Alile's credit that she is sought after as a national and international
conference speaker, sharing her experiences, offering solutions to challenges faced on the continent, and encouraging growth and empowerment. This house applauds our legacy champion and suggests that in a bid to foster lasting transformation, young people should also be empowered to become audible, visible, and vocal about vital social issues. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Osai Aliye.
Thank you very much. Requested to join her. Mr. Foladiola, please welcome.
Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it cannot be too much. I'm not speaking like a broken record, but if I don't say this, then it means that I don't value blood. Bimbo is very dear to me. She brought light and honor into my family. I'm a bit emotional because our late husband, Tunde Oloide, was my aburo. Not just aburo, blood aburo, we're second cousins. And when he decided to marry Bimbo, as Sir Steve Omojafo said, my cousin was as bush as the even, and he was very outspoken. If I use the word brash, it will be rude. He was very blunt, highly creative, intelligent, outstanding, unique, and handsome.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
And that runs in the family. You can't see anybody from Olomiloye family that is not good looking. It's a God's gift. We are good looking. Actually, when I met you, I thought you were a cousin. The Duke will attest to that. Yeah. Bimbo, you've done us proud. You've done the family proud. We are proud of you. You've brought, thank you. You brought dignity into that family. We are a family of honor and a lettered family. We have lawyers, doctors, judges, Obas, it's a royal family. And you came in and you added your color. And you are still adding the color. Thank you very much. Now to the, God bless you. Now to the business of the day. I was very moved when I heard the citation. Please continue doing the good work. But remember, ethically. That is the word I always use, ethically. If Nigeria has kept to that, we'll not be in the situation we are in today. But we have to go back to it. Things have to be done ethically. It's the only way of the Almighty, the Creator. Narrow is the path that leads to greatness in the high heavens and here. Nigeria has to go back to it, to doing things ethically. I congratulate you for this award. Continue to ride high, continue to impact on life, and God continue to bless you. Amen. Thank you.
Brandon. Congratulations, Asai and Lily.
Easy.
Everyone, My name is Adeni Nolua, and I will be taking the citation for Mr. Oscar Bemileke Oyinson. Oscar Oyinson's journey in Nigeria's media and entertainment space began about 2 decades ago as a producer and presenter at Lag 103.1 FM. His enthusiasm and abilities were quickly recognized, and he moved to Inspiration 92.3 FM and then BBC Media Action, where he was a senior producer. He later became director of programs at City 105.1 FM, and he is currently MD CEO at Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, which is currently operating from Lagos to Umaya. His experiences have provided a formidable platform for Oscar Oyinson to explore other aspects of the media and hone his skills in advertising, storytelling, presentation, training, and TV production. His passion for live communication has also led him to become a professional MC, comparing and moderating several events, so much so that he was inspired to guide young people equally fascinated by mastering the ceremony to learn the techniques that deliver professional results. Mr. Oyinson founded the MC Company in 2016. Until date, he has trained and mentored over 2,000 aspiring MCs to become professional communicators in Nigeria and beyond. This house recognizes his passion and zeal and urges him to sustain his enthusiasm. It is our expectation that Oscar Oyinson, having pursued the path of broadcasting, will not only ensure that broadcasters are encouraged to constantly improve their performance, but that he also continues to assist aspiring MCs to hone their skills, develop their crafts, and establish themselves as masters of the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Mr. Oscar Bemileke Oyinson. Thank you.
Hello? Now I can command the stage. On behalf of Bimbo Loide and her establishment, it is my pleasure to present this award.
Move to the center. The Holy Child girl is looking very holy. Can we please have all the awardees to step forward with their plaques for a group photograph with the author? All the awardees, please.
I wanted to crave your indulgence. This wasn't part of the program, but I learned very early that the opportunity of a lifetime, you need to seize the opportunity of a lifetime in the lifetime of the opportunity. I am Bemileke Oscar Oyinson, and I want to dedicate this award to my father, who turns 80 in July. And for the broadcasters in the house, his name is Chief Sonia Oyinson. I never thought I'll be here at this time, at this moment, and Auntie Bimbo, thank you very much for this. What are the odds that the likes of Alhaji Danladi Bako, he's gone? Okay. Is a name I heard in the house. Uncle Biti Olatilo was there at the first class that I had for the MC Company in 2016. Dr. Obiaya was my lecturer and my supervisor at the School of Media and Communication, and we've become very good friends, even though he didn't give me an A. But I wanted to just say thank you very much, Ma. This wasn't planned, but I want you to understand how important this is, not just to me, but everyone standing here. And we won't let you down. And to the older generations, we need your support. We need your influence. We need your networking to keep this dream alive. The generation coming behind us need this more than ever. And I can't stress how important it is. So thank you very much once again, Ma.
For me, because amazing is often a thankless job, but I thank you for commanding your stage. And like I always tell you, you keep amazing me because you don't stop from one thing to the other. I'm like, She's doing something again and again and again in a country where retirement age is 60 or 65, depending on what it is. And for the younger generation, apart from public speaking, you can command your stage in life. And we look forward to you. Thank you.
Excellencies, please permit me to stand on all already established protocol. I don't know if I should be quiet or if I should speak, being in the midst of so many wonderful speakers. I feel like everyone is going to pick at everything I say. But let me speak regardless. I'd like to start with a very solemn story about 75 Igbo men and women who rather drowned in the sea, in chains, than be slaves in America. This was in the 1800s, I believe, 1803 to be exact. That shows us the importance of commanding your stage. Even in the ocean, these 75 men and women were able to command their stage through their voice, using their voice. So being here today, I am reminded of two things: the importance of commanding your stage, having a voice and using it, and the other, I'm also encouraged to go forth and to encourage our Dibin youths to be able to speak, pass their message, and have a voice. But before I leave, Mrs. Bimbo, I am honored to be here to receive this award amongst various distinguished guests and public speakers. It is indeed a privilege to be here and to be a legacy champion, to have the honor of passing across this mantle to the younger people that would come after me. So on a final note, I am sure that Mrs. Bimbo has made her family proud and everyone that is here proud, as has been said. But I think leaving here today, one thing we must remember is our voice is our identity. Regardless of your situation, the only thing you have left is your voice. So as we're leaving here today, let us be encouraged to indeed use our voice to command the stage. Thank you.
Such an honor and a pleasure to win this award. Not just to be recognized, but also to just be here. The first time I sat with you personally was at the WIMBIS conference last year. And when Mrs. Aziz was talking about it, I smiled to myself because it was amazing. And we don't forget it, and we don't take it for granted that you're not only doing this, but you're also celebrating others. I thank you, everyone. I thank you, especially to my family and my parents and Mr. Adiola that came to stand, as always, beside me as a father, for allowing us as women to speak. In our community, we find out that a lot of times women, but thank you to those that allow us not only to speak, to have a voice, but to be heard and to allow us to do that which God has blessed us to do. I don't take it for granted to my parents and to those that I regard as my parents that have allowed me, that have stood by me, that have given me a voice. And I hope that we will also continue to give people voices, regardless of gender. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's an honor.
And gentlemen, I want to especially congratulate our host for today, the woman of the moment. Thank you very much, ma'am, Mrs. Bimbo Loyede. We really appreciate you pouring out of your experience over and over again. Thank you for this book. On behalf of Adebola Williams, I'd like to say a big thank you for this recognition. I'm a proud product of the work that he's doing in the field of the media. I've had the opportunity of cutting my teeth as a broadcast journalist and also writing for the platform as well as working on several projects. So on behalf of everybody who has been touched by the work Adebola Williams is doing, I say a big thank you for this honor. Thank you, ma'am.
I've been standing there practicing my best accents, my best voice, because I was thinking not that I would compete favorably, but at least I'll come somewhat close to all the citation readers, particularly Miss Alma, who did an excellent job. But thank you for today, and thank you for the work that your life has served. This is why we have been here, which was why we are here today. And particularly in receiving this award for an incredible, incredible woman, Dr. Amina Salihu, who I've had the pleasure of working with for so many years. She is truly a pioneer who continues to contribute immensely to many aspects of human endeavor. So thank you. That's what I would like to say for giving her an awarding, recognizing her with this prestigious award. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations again. Please put your hands together for every one of them. 5, 4, 3, 2. Mrs. Abimbola Fashola is smiling specially because an Igbobi college boy is there. That's the school her husband attended. You can see how partial she is. And Mrs. Adiola disease is... All right, thank you. That's it.
Segment to a close. We'd like to once again congratulate every awardee. Thank you so much to the representatives from the schools who gave the citations. Thank you to the stories that we heard. And we'll just carry on with the rest of the program so that we can get things going. Like I said, you know, time flies when you're having a lot of fun, right? So I'll hand over back to Blessings. Thank you so much.
Champions. And of course, the citation readers, I'm not even going to try to come close to what they did because the one I'm doing here is enough for me. I'm under fire already as it is. But congratulations once again to the legacy champion. I was sitting there and at some point I thought I was growing cold feet, but thankfully it's just the AC. You know, I'm cold all over. Once again, a round of applause, please, say everyone. So this is a reminder in case you want to step out, which I won't advise you to just yet, but the books are innovative thinkers, anybody literally needs.
Let's put your hands together on the publisher.
Natural trader. Abi? How's the person now? Why don't you do this? Madam, I'm back. POS. Have you taken the order? 2-4. Whose daughter? So what?
Which is our panel session. We'll be having a panel discussion for some minutes, and I'm going to be handing over now to the moderator of the panel session to take over from here. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I invite Oluwaseun Olaniyan, a media creative and an event compare. Please, a round of applause for Oluwaseun Olaniyan.
Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, I love you too, Oscar. It's a real honor, a real privilege to be here, to be at this book launch and part of this conversation. I'd like to say congratulations again to Mrs. Bimbo Oloyede and to all the recipients of the awards. Time is fast spent. We want to have a really interesting and engaging conversation, and the theme is to speak or not to speak. And I'm going to just quickly invite my co-panelists. And if you will, with a warm round of applause, welcome Isabella Adedeji. She's a media entrepreneur, CEO Yellow Tamarind Productions, a PR and production company. event host. She's also Alaga to Law Cambridge. Can we celebrate Isabella? Dan the Humorous is meant to join us. I don't know if he's in the room. Is Dan the Humorous in the room? Okay, he isn't. Oh, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Daniel Walker, a.k.a. Dan the Humorous, a celebrated comedian, a social activist, an actor, innovator, and entrepreneur. You're welcome, yes. It's a really great honor to be amongst experts and veterans, speak or not to speak, right? I won't just get right into it. Talking in public is a sacred duty. It's a very serious thing, one that should be handled with a lot of care, as everyone that has come on stage has done today. So, to you experts at speaking in public, would you say that there are cardinal rules to speaking in public? And if there are, what would you say are those rules to speaking in public? Who will go first? All right, Lamide, yes.
There are a few hard and fast rules. I don't like to say never because that's when you get proved wrong. But one thing that, an earlier speaker also said was, alluded to speaking nonsense. That's one thing that I think is very important. When you get up on stage, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to yourself. You have a responsibility to your audience, which means whatever it is that you're saying, make sure it's grounded in truth, grounded in fact, and make sure it's grounded in sense.
All right. Grounded in sense. Do you want the ladies to go first? Dan looks like a perfect gentleman. All right. Isabella?
I think one needs to be very careful about bias. Once you're given the responsibility of handling the microphone or being on TV, on radio, you have to take it with a lot of care and keep away your religious bias, your orientation. Make sure that you stay with the facts. Stay on the conversation. And another thing that's really important is to remember that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So we should listen twice as much as we speak so that we're able to effectively communicate.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for having me. I think the first thing I would say is be knowledgeable and do your research. We can't overemphasize how she's ready to kill the show, and she was killing the show. And the second thing I would emphasize is authenticity. It is so important. I've been at an event where I tried to sound like someone else because I'd watched this person and she's such a great compare. And then I got up stage and I was sounding so nervous because I wasn't using my voice. I was trying to use another person's voice, and someone called me and said, you sound a little nervous. And I went back and searched and I'm like, I think I'm sounding like someone else. Then I went back up stage, took charge and commanded the stage using my voice. So be authentic whilst you're learning from other people.
Amazing, amazing. I'm just going to call the attention of the students at the back. I think that this conversation, to pay attention while you're doing whatever you're doing, that would be great. All right? All right. Dan the Humorous.
Great. So yes, it's an art bounded by rules. However, there are ethics to it. And for me, as an active stand-up comedian, chief amongst other things that I do, one of the key things for me is to have an understanding of the demography of the audience I'm going to be talking to, and having the ability to read the room. Because it is one thing for you to even have a prepared set or a prepared arrangement with an idea of what you think the event will be like, and you show up at the venue and the demography is, different from what you envisage. For example, what we have here today, if I was going to do a comedy set, maybe Auntie Bimbo called me, she's having a book launch, come and do a 10-15 minute. In my mind, I have an idea of the kind of people that will be there. And then I show up and I'm seeing secondary school students that are like almost half of the room. I have to now reprogram my set so that I can carry them along, in whatever it is that I'm communicating. Because if you don't have the ability to do that, or if you don't do that, you don't get the necessary feedback. Because imagine you are performing and you only know that people like Governor Donald Duke will be there, and you only have 1/4 of the room laughing. You will not have that heavy feedback as you envisaged, and then these children will say, this guy is dry. And then they'll go home and tell their parents, and it will affect your future clients. So it's the ability to read the room and to quickly, adjust and be flexible to whatever the room presents to you.
All right. I know there's excitement in the back for the books, and we love that. But in content, you can't just speak. As Donald Duke said earlier, you can come with all the vocal gymnastics, but if there's no content, then what's the point? Now, DME, as you speak on this, I want you to also talk to the fact that with online media, with social media, the platform is democratized. Anyone can have a voice. Anyone can speak. So within that sphere, what would you say the opportunities and challenges are, especially for the new generation? Everyone today can be a broadcaster. In the good old days, you could only see Auntie Bimbo on the news. Today with YouTube and Facebook, anyone can speak. What would you say?
So first of all,
hello and welcome to the review of newspapers on Biscon Television. I'm Adebisi Elegunle, and with me in the studio is Sarah Jordan. And together we'll be taking you through major headlines from some of the newspapers. And I'll begin with the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. The first headline says, minimum wage. Each state should be allowed to negotiate with labor unions, Southern governors, as governors restate commitment to process for better wages. That's on page 5. I designed shoes. Oni explains why he doesn't wear wristwatches. That's on page 16. EFCC chairman orders arrest of officers involved in Lagos hotel raid. On page 28. Yahya Bello seeks transfer of case to Kogi. On page 24. Senate says no request yet for presidential jet. On page 4. And boldly written here is private. Illegal aircraft used for drug trafficking, money laundering. And that, according to Kayamo, and the rider says, federal government would probe licenses, clamp down on indicted operators. The story is on page 23. Ogbomoso Chief Imam kicks as Shaun queries him over Hajj, conferment of religious titles. On page 8. Sokoto Assembly refers Emirates Council Amendment Bill to committee. That's on page 24. NUT berates federal government wants continuous funding of TRCN. Story is on page 3. National Economic Council meets. Silent on minimum wage. Approves $1 billion Agric Consortium initiative. Demands measures to end crude oil theft. And lastly, for Nigerian Tribune, Tinubu approves National Construction Household Support Program rollout, prioritizes Sokoto Badagry Highway, and that's on page 12, and that's it for Nigerian Tribune.
New Telegraph. World Bank, remittances to Nigeria dropped 2.9% to $19.5 billion. You can read that on page 3. External reserves post record 5-month increase to $34.07 billion. That's on page 25. Democracy requires constant nurturing, vigilance, says Abdusalami, as Ozekome seeks electoral courts. That's on page 2. Oborevori, Nigeria needs tested, proven federation account management. You can read that on pages 2 and 5. Teachers Union to federal government, reverse decision to stop funding TRCN. Keeping children out of school will lead to generational poverty. That's on federal government, and that's on page 2 and 4. Army promotes Nigeria's first Sandhurst-trained female officer. That's insecurity, 67,330 arms, ammunition, 10.5 billion naira stolen crude recovered in Q2, EHQ. You can read all of that on pages 3 and 4. Forest crisis. High-profile retail supermarkets mall exit from Nigeria. As sales drop 50%, cargo clearing, multiple taxation, orders fingered. You can read that on page 3. Army retirees lament poor fighting equipment. As 6 major generals, 4 brigadier generals pull out of service. You can read that on page 26. Edo Ondo Guba. PDP warns against midnight announcement of results. ICAO security audits. Why Ghana, Uganda, Tanzania outperformed Nigeria. That's on page 7. Insecurity. Repatriate IPOB factional leader Ekpa, Southeast professionals tell Finland. That's on page 2. Tinubu attends NEC, mom on minimum wage, as federal government approves $1 billion agri-consortium initiative. Demands measures to end crude oil theft. You can read that on page 2. Senate will consider new presidential aircraft if necessary. Akpabio. Senate leader alleges plot to destroy government. NAS extends 2023 budget implementation to December 31st. You can read all of that on pages 4, 5, and 26. And lastly, for New Telegraph, we have tattoos may cause blood cancer. That's according to study, and that's on page 26.
Now to the Punch. NNPC to boost economy with $4 billion gas project. Cholera. Government hides vaccine donations as cases hit 1,579 on page 29. Blackmail can't stop new presidential jet approval. Senate. That's on page 28. Now to 2023 budget. Federal government okays December extension to forestall abandoned project on page 2. Federal government rolls out $1 trillion palliative massive construction project. 3.7 million families to get 540 billion naira grants, 155 billion naira for assorted foods, others. Federal government to begin massive rail construction, CNG buses distribution in states, FCT. Federal government raises fresh 284 billion naira as T-bills debt hits 10 trillion naira on page 22. Probe begins as ex-Conga CEO allegedly jumps to death in Lagos apartment. The story is on pages 4 and 5. States should negotiate minimum wage, as that according to Southern governors, and that's it for the Punch.
Now to the Vanguard newspaper. Investors mobilize $50 million to boost CNG adoption. Federal government. As on page 20. Pro-Wike group faults for Barra's claim on bombing of Rivers Hotel. That's on page 12. Police probe death of ex-Conga boss Nick Imudia. That's on page 6. All theft. Surveillance operatives uncover all bunkering camps in Bayelsa State. That's on page 35. Minimum wage. Let each state negotiate what it can pay. Governors. Tinubu next silent on minimum wage. Public-private workers getting restive over delayed minimum wage. Labour wants Labour leaders to push for quick resolution. Lament hardship becoming unbearable with basic necessities no longer affordable. We are not happy with Tinubu's slow motion. SSANU. You can read the rest of that on page 5. How democracy activists made mistake of a lifetime in 1999. That's on Sheusani, and that's on page 8. Shown Imam at war over Arch. That's on page 10. Army promotes first female officer Oluchukwu trained in Sandhurst to lieutenant. That's on page 8. Tinubu approves 50,000 naira grant, 155 billion naira food package for households. That's on page 8. And here Owela Kemfa saying the release of Asange and return to his Australian home is a victory for press freedom and fundamental human rights. It shows that no matter how long dark clouds seize the sky, sooner or later the sun will shine. You can read that on page 7. And finally, for the Vanguard, is the world of sports. Chelsea join Man United Bayern in pursuit of Lookman. That's on page 37.
The Guardian. Igbo apprenticeship scheme. How lofty entrepreneurship system undermines school enrollments on pages 4 and 5. Court halts removal of Sokoto district heads, asks government to maintain status quo on page 28. Cholera. Katsina confirms 2 cases, 118 on the watch, that on page 28. Mubad. Family gets court nod for private autopsy. You can read the story on page 8. All refiners back Dangote. decry IOC's alleged sabotage on page 6. Economic Council silent on minimum wage as VP presides.
Tinubu approves rollout of National Construction Household Support Initiative. Gives governors 7 days to submit list of support needed to ameliorate people's suffering. Charges them to meet target on food security. You can read the rest of the story on page 5. Private jet operations used for laundering money. Trafficking drug. Keyamo declares. That's on page 34. NNPC-backed surveillance operation uncovers illegal oil bunkering camps in Bayelsa. And that's it for this day.
Moving on to